Okay, so we're going to balance this number 1. Remember that technically when we balance, okay, we are looking for those steps. So let me go back a couple slides here. Oops. Remember, these are the order in which we're going to balance things, right? Polyatomics on both sides of the equation that appear, then hydrogen and oxygen, things except for hydrogen and oxygen are second. So polyatomics, atoms that are not hydrogen or oxygen, and then hydrogen second to last, oxygen dead last, okay? So we're always looking for that. That will help us balance most quickly, the quickest, I should say, 95% of the time. Okay, so don't do what I'm going to do, just watch for a moment for explanation, okay? So we're going to normally think of this as splitting, oops, I need to get my pen working. We're going to split the compound and think of it as the left side and the right side. So the arrow is sort of the fulcrum point of our balance, teeter-totter or seesaw. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to think of that. We're going to use that arrow as our split, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put a list. And this is the showing your work part that you'll be able to skip eventually, okay? Maybe even today, depending on how well you get this. But the nice part about this is this process I'm going to show you is sort of a, I can't do this kind of problem. Let me go through the basics here. So this will be sort of your foolproof way of doing it if you get stuck ever. So first thing we're going to search for is anything that's polyatomics, because polyatomics are, if we can treat them as a unit, are the quickest way to balance. Excuse me, I don't have any polyatomics. What is a polyatomic? Remember, it's going to be the front half or the back half that exist as 2 or more atoms. So I don't have those. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list atoms that are not hydrogen or oxygen. So in this case, both of what we have, aluminum and sulfur. If I had hydrogen and oxygen, they would be second to last and dead last. Okay, so we have aluminum and sulfur. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the left side of aluminum for the left side of the arrow, and the right side of aluminum for the right side of the arrow. So I see that I have 1 aluminum, because there's no number in front and no number after, and 1 sulfur. I have 2 aluminums and 3 sulfurs on the right. So 2 and 3. Questions about that? Okay, so then I'm going to figure out what I got to put out in front. I can only put numbers in front. I can't put numbers after subscripts, can't put numbers in between. I can only put numbers in the very front. That's why I gave you those 3 spaces. Eventually those will go away, but for now, that's just the training wheels that we need on right now, right? So we need 2 aluminum. So what do I put in front of here? Well, I got to put a 2 here because I think about 2 times this 1, even though there's not a 1 there. 2 times, there is a 1, we just don't write it. 2 times 1 makes this go to 2. I call this work down here my placemat. So where I'm doing all my thinking, right? So now aluminums are 2 to 2, so they're balanced. Remember, think of this as a teeter-totter or a seesaw, and we're trying to get the left side and the right side balanced. And then I have 3 sulfurs and 1 sulfur, so what can I put in front of here? I can put a 3 here, which then makes my adjustment down here to a 3. So now this is a 2-2 and a 3-3. I would read this to you, if I was reading this out loud, I would have to read it as a 2-3-1, right? 2-3-1. But remember, we don't actually write the 1s, it's just I have to say 1 so you know the placeholder is there. So this would be a 2-3-1, but we don't write the 1. Questions or concerns about where I got the 1 and the 1, the 2 and the 3, or how I got to the 2 and the 3 on the left side? Okay, next one then, we're looking for polyatomics. There are no polyatomics, but we do have zinc and oxygen. Because oxygen is present, I want to keep it last. That almost always, 95% of the time, will make life better for us and quicker. So here on the left, I have 1 zinc and 2 oxygens, 1 zinc and 2 oxygens. On the right, I have 1 of each because there's no numbers with them. Zinc looks fantastic, 1 to 1. Oxygen is 2 to 1. So what do I put in front of where oxygen is? I can't squeeze it in, can't put it after. I have to put it in front of the unit that it's in. So this is my compound, my chemical. I can't put anything in between. I have to put a 2 out in front here, which makes my oxygen go to 2, because 2 times, remember there's 1s here like this, right? 2 times 1 is 2. And then now this also makes a zinc change though, because whenever I put a number out in front of an element or a compound, it changes everything immediately after that element or compound. So it's also going to change my zinc to 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. So now I got to come back over here because oxygens look good, but now my zincs become unbalanced, didn't they? So I got to come back over and fix. What do I need to do? I need to get to 2, and I have 1. So I'll put a 2 here, which makes my 2 go down to 2 down here, because of 2 times the 1. Remember, there's a 1 here. So now I have 2 zincs and 2 zincs, 2 oxygens and 2 oxygens. I would read this as a 2-1-2. Questions that you have over number 2? Okay, next one. We have no oxygens, no polyatomics, no oxygens, no hydrogens. So magnesium and chlorine are my elements. This is chlorine. Cl is chlorine. If you're ever confused if this is a capital I or lowercase l, if there's a C or an A before it, assume it's a lowercase l. Or ask. It's not meant to be a secret. So I have 1 magnesium and 2 chlorines. I have 1 magnesium and 2 chlorines. Questions about how I get 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, because it's already balanced, you need to tell me that you looked at it and you know it's balanced by putting the word balance or BAL or draw someone on a tightrope. I don't care. Whatever. Just let me know that it's balanced. Okay, because that's the skill we're testing here. Okay, number 4, we have aluminum and oxygen. Okay, and I'm putting oxygen last because normally oxygen last is the best case scenario, right? I have 1 aluminum on the left and 2 on the oxygens on the left. I have 2 aluminums on the right and 3 oxygens on the right. So first thing I'm going to do is fix my aluminums by putting a 2 in front. That makes this go to a 2. Remember, I always kind of focus up here in the balanced equation, and then I do my adjustments down here. That's the safest way to think about this work. So oxygen is 2 and 3. So I've got to always, and I didn't mention this yet, and I should have, I have to mention that your coefficients, your numbers in front, always have to be the smallest ratios to each other. Okay, so I can't have, let me go back for just a moment. I couldn't have, that's not a good example to use. I couldn't have 4, 1, 4. I'm sorry, I couldn't have 4, 2, 4, right? Because I could reduce all those. So you always want to have the smallest ratio of coefficients. So here I got to get 2, right? I got to get 2 to my aluminums. Now, oxygen has 2 and 3. Well, the smallest number, and that's why I went on that little tangent a moment ago, our smallest number that 2 and 3 have in common is 6. So I got to get them both to a 6. So what can I put in front of this guy on the left to get it to 6? A 3, because 3 times 2 would then make this change to a 6. And I got oxygen over here. I got to ignore aluminum for a moment. I got to think about how do I get this oxygen on the right to a 6. I got to put a 2 there, which makes oxygen go to 6, 2 times 3. But it also makes aluminum go to a 4, because of 2 times 2. So my oxygens look great, but now someone's gotten off the teeter-totter on this side, right, so to speak. So instead of putting a 2 in front, what could I instead put in front, right? I'm just going to erase that number and rethink it. What could I put in front instead? A 4. And you can either use pencil or you can scratch out. I don't really care, just as long as it's clear what you want. So I'm putting a 4 there because 4 times 1 makes this go to 4. And now we have 4, 4, 6, 6, and it's balanced. Balanced with a 4, 3, 2. Questions you have over number 4? Okay, let's look at number 5 then. Okay, so for number 5, we're going to list phosphorus and oxygen. We have 1 phosphorus and 2 oxygens on the left, 4 phosphorus and 10 oxygens on the right. To get phosphorus to 4, we're going to put a 4 here because 4 times 1 makes this down here go to a 4. And now oxygen has 2 and 10. What's the smallest number 2 and 10 have in common? 10. So to get them both to 10, because we can only multiply, right? I'm going to put a 5 here, and that goes to 10. And now I have 4, 4, 10, 10. And I would read this to you as a 4, 5, 1, but remember we don't write the 1s. Questions about number 5? Okay, we're going to go on to number 6, which I have to find it because I have a different set of notes. Okay, I believe this is your number 6. We have Bi and Cl. No polyatomics. By the way, this whole entire worksheet does not have any polyatomics. Remember, polyatomics would be the front half of the back half that has multiple 2 or more atoms acting as a unit. So we have 1 and 2, and we have 1 and 3. 1 bismuth and 2 chlorines on the left, 1 bismuth and 3 chlorines on the right. So bismuth looks fantastic, but we got to get chlorine balanced. 2 and 3 is a very common set of numbers you have to adjust. So we're going to get this to 6. We got to get these both to 6. So I'll put a 3 here. 3 times 2 goes to 6. Got to get chlorine on this side to 6, so I got to put a 2 there because I know 2 times 3 makes this go to 6. But it also makes my bismuth because I have to distribute all the way through anything that's right in front of, makes my bismuth go to 2. So to get my bismuth fixed on the other side, I'm going to put a 2 in front because 2 times the 1 makes this go to 2. Remember, this is my working area, my placemat. So 2, 2, 6, 6, and this is balanced with a 2, 3, 2. Questions about number 6? Okay, number 7 then. Number 7, we have aluminum and bromine. We have 1 aluminum and 2 bromines, 1 aluminum and 3 bromines. So aluminum is great, but bromine has a 2, 3. Smallest number 2 and 3 have in common is 6. So I'm going to put a 3 here, which makes the bromine down here go to 6 on the left. Put a 2 here, which makes, yes, bromine go to 6, but aluminum go to 2. So bromines are now balanced, but aluminums became unbalanced. So I got to put a 2 over here because I need 2 times 1 to get to 2. So I got this as a 2 aluminums on each side, 6 bromines on each side of the equation. And we balance this with a 2, 3, 2. Questions about number 7? Okay, number 8. Number 8. We have copper and we have oxygen. I'm putting oxygen dead last because it's present. 1 and 2. 2 and 1. Copper looks unbalanced, 1 to 2, so I put a 2 here, which makes my copper go to 2. Oxygen has a 2 and a 1, so I got to get them both to 2. I got to put a 2 on this side, which makes oxygen go to 2, and copper go to 4. So oxygen is good, but now I've unbalanced copper. So instead of putting a 2 here, what could I put to get to 4? Well, I got 1, so I can put a 4 because 4 times 1 gets me to 4. And now this is balanced with a 4, 1, 2. Again, you will not write the ones when you're balancing, but we do have to represent it as a placeholder. That's why I read it off as a 4, 1, 2. Questions about 8? Okay, number 9. Number 9 is SN and Cl. We have 1 SN and 2 Cls, 1 SN and 4 Cls. So SN is good, 1 to 1. Got to get 4 chlorines, so I put a 2 here, which makes this chlorine go to 4, and now I'm balanced as a 1, 2, 1, because SN was balanced and chlorine was balanced. So that's a 1, 2, 1. Questions about number 9? Okay, number 10. So for number 10, we're going to do sodium and sulfur. We have a 1 and a 1. We have a 2 and a 1. 1 sodium, 1 sulfur on the left, 2 sodiums, 1 sulfur on the right. To get sodiums balanced, my first thing that's unbalanced, I put a 2 there, so 2 to 2. And sulfur was already 1 to 1, so now this is balanced as a 2, 1, 1. Okay, what we're going to do next is I'm going to have you work on 11 through 20, but before you do it, hang tight for just a moment. I want you looking at the screen. In a moment, you're going to go to your whiteboard. I'm going to give you a link to a whiteboard FI. You're going to do 11 through 20, and then on your whiteboard FI, you're going to report answers like this. So if you look at the screen for a moment, if you were doing 10 on your whiteboard FI, you would do a 2, 1, 1. And then if you were doing 11, when you do 11 in a moment, you'll see that 11 is a 2, 1, 2. So that's how you're going to put the answers on your whiteboard FI that I'm going to share with you in a moment. You're going to do that for all 10 problems. And once you get that done, we'll check the answers, and then you'll get credit for that assignment, okay? And I'll put it in myself from my end. So go ahead and start working on 11 through 20. In just a moment, when I get it ready, I'll put the link in for the whiteboard FI, and then you can start putting your answers on your whiteboard FI.